It was a beautiful day, and Anna was practicing on her new violin. It wasn't long before her music attracted an audience. Although Anna was not a professional, she played well, and Pinocchio was impressed. He wanted to get as close as he could to the wonderful music.
That was wonderful, Anna. I can't believe how beautifully you play. Let me try it.
All right, but you must promise to be careful.
Right, I promise. This is the prettiest violin in the world.
That's the way, Pinocchio. Very good.
With a little encouragement from Anna, Pinocchio's confidence grew. Suddenly, he was playing like an expert. It was a lively tune, and it was very hard for him to keep still. He was dancing and leaping about as carefree as could be, perhaps just a little too carefree.
Oh, what have you done, Pinocchio? You promised me you'd be careful, and you've completely broken it apart. Papa bought me this violin for my birthday. It was very special.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Anna.
Papa's going to be furious.
I'd be happy to buy you a new one.
Without any money, what are you thinking of?
You're right. Guess I'm dreaming again. I must be the clumsiest puppet in the world. Oh, hey, my father could build you a new violin. He's a master carpenter, so he'd make it perfectly.
You couldn't possibly mean it.
Yes, Father, I must find a way to replace the violin.
But I've never made an instrument like that in my whole life, Pinocchio.
But, Father, you make all sorts of things out of wood.
It's just not the same thing.
Everybody's gonna hate me. I won't have any friends. You don't love me.
Of course I love you, Pinocchio.
Will you do it, will you?
If you will bring me the proper wood, I will try to make you one.
You're the best pal a puppet ever had, Father. I'll find some wood. Oh, almost forgot.
I promised, but I don't like this. I don't like this a bit.
Off Pinocchio went in search of the perfect wood for the new violin. He had to go quite deep into the woods in order to find just the right maple tree. And of course, the woods can be a very frightening place to be when you're all by yourself. On and on Pinocchio went. It was so still and quiet that it almost felt like he was the only one there. But he wasn't. A couple of spiders had dropped by, and one of them had decided to come along for a ride. But he didn't seem to be a very welcome visitor.
Get off me there!
As Pinocchio struggled to catch his breath, a shadow appeared. A shadow that was moving very quickly. It was a maple tree, more magnificent than any he had seen before. It hadn't been there a moment ago.
This tree seems to stretch up to the sky. But how could a tree just appear out of nowhere? I'm frightened.
I was hoping we'd have another visitor soon. No need to be frightened. I'm the guardian of this ancient maple tree. I won't harm you.
The guardian?
That's right. This tree is 1,000 years old, and I take care of it. Come closer, young man.
You really won't hurt me?
Not the slightest.
All right.
I merely wish to tell you a little bit about its history. It may be hard for a human being to understand.
But I'm not a human being, even though I often wish I were. I'm a puppet made of wood that came from a tree.
Goodness. Maybe you're just the fellow we've been waiting for. This maple tree has lived a very unhappy life, but most folks wouldn't be very sympathetic. Being made of wood yourself, perhaps you'd be more apt to be interested. Or am I boring you?
No, I'd love to hear more.
Let me give you an example, if I may. Once in the time of the Egyptians, there was a slave attempting to escape. Now, before I go on, have you heard of the Egyptians? Do you remember your father ever telling you about them?
I remember.
A very noble people from the past who unfortunately kept slaves. The story begins long, long ago, when this maple tree lived in the faraway land of Egypt. The slave who had run away was being closely pursued by his merciless captors. They were intent on finding him and punishing him severely. Just when he thought there was nowhere to hide, he saw a maple tree which was happy to shield him from his cruel pursuers. The slave was so grateful to the tree that he swore his everlasting friendship. And to prove it was true, he began to play a beautiful song on his harp. The tree loved music, so the slave played louder. But he played so loud that the hunters also heard him, and his fate was sealed. You see, everything this tree has tried to do has turned out poorly. It's very sad. Every time he makes an attempt to be kind and thoughtful, it simply ends up backfiring on him. He's become very old and would be happy to leave his life behind, but he wishes he were able to perform one good deed that was sure to turn out well before he gives himself to the lightning and then departs from this world forever.
Hey, Mr. Maple Tree could help me out plenty.
It shall be done. Move back now. This tree knows your need. Look, make a violin. It shall be its last act of kindness before it allows itself to be burnt away, to leave you one piece of wood which you may use to make your violin. But be careful, for this violin may have strange and unusual properties, since it comes from such an ancient and magical tree. Now may the fire consume it and all of its memories. Remember, the violin must be used carefully, very, very carefully.
Maybe it can be done after all.
Geppetto worked through the night, and by early next morning the violin was finished. Geppetto was exhausted. Pinocchio and his friends couldn't wait to see it.
The violin's finished. My father's a brilliant carpenter. What?
What kind of violin is that? It's absolutely awful.
There must be a reason for its shape.
Huh? Maybe it's meant for boxing with.
I'd be embarrassed to play an instrument like that.
I'll try to wake him up. Please, Father.
My father bought me a piano. Perhaps you'd better keep this. Thanks anyway.
Real brilliant carpentry work.
How could you? You made a fool of me.
I'm sorry.
Ah, dumb violin, it's Father's fault. Huh? I must be misbehaving.
Don't run away from me, Pinocchio. Stay.
It was Pinocchio's fairy godmother.
You're being very foolish.
This dumb violin is more foolish. Now it's a pig's nose.
Because you've behaved so badly. Your father worked very hard, but you're an ungrateful boy.
I suppose Father had to work all night to build this violin.
That's right. And where did the wood come from that was used to make it?
From an old maple tree that I met while I was out walking in the woods.
The last remnant of the maple. And you'd smash it to pieces without any thought at all.
Guess I didn't think about it.
It's up to you to keep the memory of the maple tree alive, Pinocchio. When played properly, this violin will make the most beautiful music imaginable. But you must be worthy to play it.
Oh, I'm ashamed.
You must never forget that you were also made of wood and should be respectful of the old maple. When you've learned to play the violin, you may find that it will help you become a real boy. I know that's very important to you.
Playing this violin well might help me become a real boy.
It's very possible, so think about it, Pinocchio.
With that final bit of advice, the Oak Fairy left. And soon, Pinocchio was hard at work practicing his violin playing. But practice wasn't making perfect.
Oh, that's definitely the most horrible sound I've ever heard.
Give me a break! My eardrums are bursting! Quiet! How am I ever going to be able to learn how to play this violin? What on earth was my fairy godmother thinking about? This thing can't be played. My father just didn't get it right.
Meanwhile, in the lands near where Pinocchio lived, there had been a terrible drought. The land was dry, and nothing would grow.
It's absolutely hopeless, I tell you. Hopeless. It feels to me like we may never have rainfall again. I'm just about ready to pack it all
It's my
in.
poor children I feel badly for. They've no food to eat. I can't bear to see them hungry.
I've been a farmer for many years, but I've never seen anything like this.
Life can be so cruel sometimes.
Being a human is hard. Maybe I can cheer them up with some violin music. I almost forgot the horrible music I make wouldn't cheer anyone up.
Perhaps playing is a good idea. You would be doing a very good deed helping to cheer the farmers up. Play for them, Pinocchio.
Pinocchio played his violin, and the music was beautiful.
Huh?
Yes, yes. Oh, yes.
As Pinocchio continued to play, the farmers began to forget their troubles. The tune was the loveliest they'd ever heard. It was as beautiful as the song the slave had played for the maple tree in the days of the pharaohs. As Pinocchio played with no thought for himself, the magic of the maple tree began to take effect, and the clouds began to darken. The spirit of the maple tree and the slave who had lived so long ago brought rain to the thirsty land.
We're saved! It's a miracle! The rain is back!
The beautiful water began to nourish the dry, arid land, and still Pinocchio played on. He had played from his heart and created something wonderful.
I can't believe it. I actually made music. The Oak Fairy was right. This'll be the most amazing instrument the world's ever heard.
Soon Pinocchio had traveled to the king's castle and was gathering quite a crowd.
Here we are, ladies and gents, the most amazing violin playing in the world from the miracle violin player. What would you like me to play?
I'd prefer you played a romantic song, yes?
What nonsense! Play us a happy song!
Come on, boy, play a song!
Yeah!
That's right, boy, we're tired of your talking! If you're such a good musician, show us! After all this, he better be good!
I am prepared to begin.
Hurry up and play then, boy!
Oh, come on, magic violin, play! Don't embarrass me!
Imposter, you're awful!
Our money refunded!
We demand you give it all back.
You'll pay for this, puppet boy! We believe in severe punishment for frauds and thieves. The king may sentence you to be kept in his prison forever.
No!
You'll be sorry you tried that nonsense around here.
You seem to be in a bit of trouble, Pinocchio.
Could it be you? Cricket, you must help me. I'm desperate.
You've managed to mess up pretty badly this time, Pinocchio. I'm not sure if I can.
But it's not my fault at all. This violin keeps letting me down. I've been good, honest.
You can be so frustrating to deal with. You must be prepared to accept blaming yourself.
The violin won't play what I want it to. Why should I blame myself for it? Tell me that!
You're impossible. Goodbye.
Wait, don't leave me.
Suddenly, Pinocchio realized if the window was open, why not escape?
Oh dear, I certainly hope this works. It would be embarrassing to fail in front of the entire royal court.
There he is now.
I understand that he's a famous doctor.
Well, I certainly hope he can cure her.
I wonder if she'll ever speak again.
Well, he'd better cure her. The king's out of patience.
Shh! It's true. Princess Penelope hasn't spoken for a month now.
The last fellow who failed didn't do so well.
I'm certainly glad I'm not him.
My lord and lady, Dr. Diefenbaker!
Step forward, Dr. Diefenbaker, and speak to us.
I'm pleased to announce I've discovered a cure for muteness. A sip of my potion and Princess Penelope will warble like a sparrow, chatter like a magpie, chirp like a songbird.
That is enough!
Like a...
We want her to speak, not fly like a bird. I'm only interested in results. Your medicine had better work.
Oh, I'm sure it will, sire. Have the princess drink from this glass and she'll be cured forever.
Here you go, my dear. Please make me happy and drink some of this. It just breaks my heart not to have you speak to us.
Swallowed every drop. I'm proud of you, sweetheart. Now speak to your mother. Chatter like a magpie if you wish. She won't speak one word.
This medicine doesn't work at all.
You've made fools of us. Hang him by his feet for a week.
No, I'll get dizzy. It should have worked, honest.
I just thought of a great plan.
What? You must be loony. How could I possibly do that? I'm just a puppet. Forget it.
You haven't heard the details yet. It might be simpler than you think. Listen up.
What's so funny, prisoner?
You must be the dumbest guard in the world.
I happen to be a very smart guy.
Got a problem with your helmet? I'm the famous Pinocchio. I'm capable of fixing the princess's problem.
Why, that's a pack of lies, you fibber.
I was kind of hoping you were brighter than you look, but I guess you're dumb, all right.
I'm as bright as they come.
Then imagine if you're wrong. You'd be being disloyal to the king. And imagine what a hero you'd be if I cured her, because you'd be the one who found me. You'd probably be knighted and made head guard.
I'm on my way.
So, you're the famous Pinocchio, are you? Well, you don't impress me, but apparently you claim to be a healer who can cure my daughter. If you fail, you'll regret fooling with me.
What method will you use to cure her?
Music. Music of the violin.
What nonsense! Seize him!
Oh, wait a moment, please. My lord, I believe that the body is ruled by the spirit. I feel that the princess's sickness comes from her heart, not from her body.
We have nothing to lose by letting him try, my lord.
You may play, but do not fail.
Please, don't fail me, violin. I'm not doing this for the reward. I'm doing it to help this little girl get better. Besides, these people don't look like they'd be too nice to me if I fail.
Oh, I hope he's thinking kind thoughts.
Oh, ha.
As Pinocchio played, something miraculous occurred.
What?
The music was delightful. And it was hard for anyone not to want to dance along. As Pinocchio continued to play, there were more and more wonders. There were puppets of every shape and description, as well as dancing dragons. And they were every color of the rainbow. There were dancing birds. And marching to the beat of the drums the Bears Brigade. There were so many wonderful images contained within the music. Pinocchio wasn't playing for himself. He was playing to help someone else. So the magic of the wood helped him to create the most delightful music that anyone in the court had ever heard. A change began to come over the princess.
The princess has spoken! An absolute miracle!
Oh, my baby. Oh, Mother.
The plan had worked.
Yay for Pinocchio! What's going on? There's something mighty fishy about this.
Pinocchio had managed to cure the princess, but it seemed that the king and his ministers had more in mind than simply rewarding him, and whatever it was, it didn't look good.